what's your first tip for people, like in terms of staying in control of their anxiety during all of this?
So the first thing that I find for myself and I relate to my clients is finding that self-care. Finding your specific ways that are going to help you feel good. You know, you don't have to try hard and you don't have to go like the extra mile to find ways. It can be something as simple as taking a warm, relaxing bath, or even just soaking your feet. If you're somebody that's working from home and you have the opportunity to fill a tub with some warm water, maybe some essential oils like lavender or, uplifting lemongrass or something like that. And just
I love that. Nice, simple way to bring the spa home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's simple, easy way to just give yourself 15 minutes of peace.
I think people forget that because most of our self-care is so involved in like going for a monthly massage or going to get our nails done or finding like even haircuts. My poor husband's like, actually, now that I think about it, going to get my haircut's the only time I kind of like sit down and I'm quiet and I'm restful. So it's cool that, you're inviting people to be really mindful, like, hey, when you're not out and about and taking care of yourself in other ways, you can still do it at home, and it's really important.
Absolutely. And this is not just for women either. Men can find solace in soaking your feet in a tub of warm water with some essential oils.
I would love if my husband would do that. I don't know if I could convince him to, but.
Well, all they have to do is do it once and then they're sold.
My husband's self-care is taking the tablet to the bedroom and just like allowing himself to play Mario Kart or some kind of fun game.
If that's it, if that's just a few minutes of escaping from everything that's going on around you, it can be something as simple as just sitting outside and listening to the sounds around you, the birds, kids playing in their yards, or cars driving by, and just sitting and just focusing on the sounds that you hear and not anything else.
I think that's really important. I think that's a really good tip, is just like keeping it simple. Self-care doesn't have to look fancy or you don't have to do anything special. It's just about like quieting your mind and finding some kind of escape.
Absolutely. And the important piece of the self-care is focusing on your breath. A lot of times when we're busy or we're so stressed out, if we actually take a moment and realize we're holding our breath a lot and we're not taking deep breaths, we're doing shallow breaths, or we're in a hurry to get work done and manage homeschooling the kids, or how am I going to get to the grocery store, and trying to balance all of this stuff, even though we're at home and we're quarantining or we're required to isolate a little bit more than what we're used to. Sitting and focusing on your breath, even if it's just for 60 seconds at a time, and taking deep breaths in through your nose, filling up your belly, holding it for a second, and then slowly releasing it through your mouth will help reset you, even if you're just got a million things going on in your mind.
Well, I love that you bring that up because it's so biological, right? It's not even about what you're doing in your head. If you can just focus on your breath, your body can kind of do some of that letting go of the anxiety work for you. I heard I was doing a lot of studying of mindfulness and meditation and breathing, and I found out that there's like sensors in the lungs, and that's why deep breathing actually works. Is if you take big deep breaths out, your body, your sensors in your lungs are telling your brain like, hey, it's cool, there's no saber-toothed tiger trying to rip your face off, like you're not in danger, chill. So I love that strategy, taking nice deep breaths, even if like that's the only thing you can do for self-care, that's still really important.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, that kind of brings me to my little tip, which is just like honoring how you feel. I've talked to so many of my clients and they're kind of confused about why they're exhausted or frustrated with themselves for feeling so stressed out and tense. And it's like, well, this isn't a vacation. This is an international global pandemic, and it's totally understandable why you would feel anxious or stressed or depressed even. So just like giving yourself permission to feel feelings actually can do a lot for your mental health instead of judging it or trying to change how you feel. I've been saying that over and over to people.
Absolutely. And not really comparing yourself to how other
Love
people
that.
feel, because there's so many different perspectives on this, and accepting that how you feel in the moment is okay. And it can change, right? It can change from minute to minute.
Second to second almost, right?
True. Very
All
true.
right.
Yes.
Cool. What's your next tip for people?
So another big piece that I was thinking about around this was, that word that we keep hearing, social distancing. And, I like to rephrase it as physical distancing, because we're such social human beings, and it's so important for us to have interactions, even those of us that are more introverts and don't necessarily socialize so much. But being able to at least have somebody to reach out to, even if it's a neighbor that you can talk to over the fence, or if it's somebody you can pick up and make a phone call to, or have face-to-face Skype or Zoom meetings, or however you can find some connection to physical distance, but not socially isolate, because that's
I love that term.
a huge difference in that. And I understand why, they initially had said that, because it's, the physical connection too, that when we're together, we hug, we touch, you reach across and you're in close proximity. So it's the physical piece that we really need to focus on limiting right now, to limit, the spread of this virus that we're so worried about, but not socially isolating. It's so important to find somebody. And even those people are like, well, I just don't have anybody. I challenge you to think deeper and to just identify, even if it's, hey, the mailman comes by every day and waves at me. Even if you just out there when that mailman comes by and you say, hey, have a great day, that's going to increase your mood and give you that connection, that human connection that everybody needs.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I love how people are actually coming together in really creative ways. And I kind of tell clients to be proactive instead of retroactive. It's like, if you don't think about it ahead of time, it's just like being out in the world. If you don't plan to get together with your friends, it's not going to happen impulsively. So
Absolutely.
just encouraging people to plan like happy hours with their friends on Zoom. And I'm seeing a lot of people connect with old friends or friends that don't live in the same state. And so it's almost like an opportunity to find social connection, but with physical distancing in a unique way.
Absolutely. And that's, just the act of talking to people can ground you. There's so many times you have a million thoughts going on in your head. You have anxieties, and they're steadily increasing because of the uncertainties of what's going on. So just being able to have a physical conversation with somebody, and not just texting, actually talking. Even, the teenagers are so used to texting each other. They'll sit in the same room and text each other, or they'll sit in the same room and play video games and talk to each other on their headsets. And that they're actually verbally talking to each other, but it's so important to have that. And actually the sound of your voice can be very cathartic and calm you. So the more you actually have a conversation with somebody, the more you can actually create for yourself.
Wow, really great tips. Thank you so much.